If you're trying to create a budget when you barely get by, it might feel like a waste of time. But the truth is, creating a budget when you have a very low income is more important than ever, especially if you want to actually start to save money and stop the stress of the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. Let me show you what I mean. Hi, I'm Jacob Wade from Lunch Money. I'm a financial coach, and today I want to show you how to create a simple yet effective budget that allows you to actually save money even if you don't make a lot. My first budget was when I just gotten married. We were broke in college and I was only making $14 an hour. But even though things were really tight, they definitely were, we were able to stick to the budget, save a little bit of money, just a little bit. But the big win was we didn't have to go and use credit cards to get further into debt. That was huge for us. So I want to walk you through the exact steps on how to create a budget that works with your income, not against it, and allows you to actually save a little bit of money and avoid using credit cards just to get by. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I want to show you how Lunch Money makes this process really easy. We'll create a quick sample budget to show you how to live on very little and how we can automate the process to stay on track. All right, step number one is to just know your actual income, like the exact amount of dollars that are actually going to hit your bank account. If you have multiple jobs or if you get paid variably and it kind of changes over time, you need to anticipate what is going to hit my bank account after taxes, after health insurance, all that stuff. That's the usable money for your budget. So I don't care if you get paid $20 an hour and you think you're going to make $800 on a 40-hour work week. That's not what's going to hit your bank account. You need to look at what are the paychecks that hit my account, how much do I make on average, what am I going to take home, and what can I actually budget with. It's really important to use exact numbers. Also include any extra income you have. So when my wife and I were making very little, she picked up a babysitting job and babysat once or twice a month, and we added that income, and that was part of our total budget that we allocated for the month. So just make sure you're using exact numbers. So the key is this is going to be your baseline for your actual budget. This is the number you're going to use so you can allocate it towards your bills and expenses. So make sure you get a very realistic number here. If you want any help with that, of course, at Lunch Money, we make that really easy. You just connect your financial accounts. We'll track your deposits over the last 90 days. We'll show you your 3-month average of what your income has been per month. So then you know, okay, this is about what I bring home. This is about what hits my bank account. So again, if you want help with that, we got a link below. You can sign up for Lunch Money for free and give that a shot. All right, step 2, after you know what your income is, you want to perform a financial audit. The only way to get where you're going is to know where you've been. You need to know where your money has been going so you can make a plan for it going forward. I tell people it's like a roadmap. If you set your destination, your pin in the roadmap, that's your financial goals. But you need to know, how am I going to get here, by putting a pin at the starting point of your map. The starting point of your map is where has my money been going. So the financial audit is basically a look back over the last 90 days-ish of your spending. You want to look at the last 3 months and know, okay, where has my money been disappearing to? What bills? Maybe I've been spending on entertainment and restaurants, takeout, and travel. Where is your money actually been disappearing to? So what I like to do when I do this with my coaching clients is they look through every single transactions and they categorize those transactions by what they are, and then they total all of those up. Of course, at Lunch Money, we make that really easy. You connect all of your credit cards and bank accounts and things. We'll show you how much money you spent on groceries and travel and restaurants and entertainment and streaming services and bills. Like, we'll show that stuff, and you can look back over 90 days, look at the averages, so you know where your money's been disappearing to. But the key to this is, now that you know where your money's been going, it brings a whole lot of awareness. Don't feel judged, by the way. I tell people it's kind of like holding a financial mirror in front of yourself. You know, oh, there is clearly what has been happening. Now that I have that information, I'm not going to judge, but I'm going to start to make some decisions. So as I walk through this with coaching clients, I say, look at your numbers and then start to look at the transactions where you go, I didn't need to spend money there. That doesn't actually matter to me. Then you can start to cut things out quickly. Once you know where your money has disappeared to, you can start making different decisions. That's going to be the number one thing that's going to help you move your budget in the right direction and help you start sticking to it because you're being realistic. Okay, so now that you know where your money has been going, now you need to start to make a plan for where you need it to go. Again, if you have a low income, you need to be very purposeful about where those first dollars in your budget go. I want to say the most important thing is to focus on your needs. And needs are very limited. Like, a lot of people think, oh, I need this, I need that. No, your needs are very limited. It's going to be your housing. It's going to be your utilities. Got to keep the lights on, keep the water running. It's going to be your groceries. You got to eat to live. And it's going to be transportation. And those are really the four main things you need to focus on. You got to be able to get around and get to work. You got to be able to have a place to sleep and keep the lights on, and you got to eat to live. Like that is truly what your basic needs are. I will also add to that, you might want to also make sure you set aside money for insurance. You know, if you don't have car insurance, it's not legal. Homeowners insurance, if you own a home, very, very important. You need to make sure you have some insurance in the right places, and then make sure you pay your debt minimum payments. Now, long term, of course, you want to pay those debts down, but make sure you at least hit those minimum payments to protect your credit score and protect yourself from getting hit with interest or potential, worse things like wage garnishment. So make sure you set aside money for housing, utilities, transportation, groceries, insurance, and debt minimum payments. And here's the thing. If you have a very, very low income or a fluctuating income and you're budgeting on a small amount, if for some reason you just cover those 6 needs and those are too expensive for your lifestyle, this is where you need to start making some big changes to make sure you can get by without going further into debt. Now, this could be looking into something like shared housing, getting a roommate, or finding a way to lower your housing costs. Could be an extreme meal prep, like, hey, I'm not gonna go in a restaurant, I'm gonna delete Uber Eats and DoorDash from my phone. I'm gonna make sure no matter what, I'm just gonna meal prep and have simple meals and lower those expenses. But if you need to, you gotta start looking at even those basic needs. Can I make these more optimized? Can I lower my transportation costs? Can I sell the car that has the car payment, and can I just get a used car that's good enough? Can I lower my insurance coverage amounts so that it's still fully covered, but it's just enough? Again, when you have a low income, you got to start making some of these decisions. Eventually, you're going to want to expand those things back out, but if your needs cost more than you make, that is something you're going to need to focus on and make those specific changes. All right, after you have your needs in there, if there's a little bit of money left over, you can add a couple of wants in, because it is tough to live on just your needs alone. And again, if you have a little bit left over, you can have a little money for restaurants, a little money for entertainment. Maybe you can have that one streaming service, or you keep Amazon Prime so you get the free shipping, but it comes with some streaming. You can have a little bit in there so that you're not too miserable. But really, you just need to kind of focus in and go, okay, these are the things that I need to live. Maybe a couple of wants so that I can enjoy life a little bit, but let's not go too crazy here, because the goal is you want to start stacking your savings. So if you want to add a couple things into your extras category, that's okay, but make sure you have some left over to actually start saving money. All right, we talked about looking at your past spending, finding areas of waste. Well, some ways you can cut that waste out is to first just audit through and go, okay, are there subscriptions and streaming services, gym memberships, things where I have a recurring expense where I'm not actually using the service? Can we cut those things out? Those can go very, very quickly. A lot of services you can just hit the pause button on. Maybe you're just in a low income for a season and you've got more income coming in, or a second job. That's great, but let's hit pause on those things. Again, I talked about meal planning, meal prep while you're going to work, making sure you're bringing your lunch to work, making sure you're using simple ingredients, buying stuff on sale, like lower those expenses. You can negotiate your bills. This is something a lot of people overlook. So you can call your cell phone provider or switch to a prepaid cell phone provider. You could go to a competitor. You could call your insurance company and say, hey, your competitor is half the price. I'm going to move to them if you don't do something, and see if you can cut your internet bill in half. Do the same thing. Shop your car insurance around. I've saved $1,100 within 6 months just moving my car insurance to another company. So there are a lot of things you can do. Just make sure that nothing is untouched. Every transaction you go through, go, can I get this cheaper? Can I get the same service for cheaper? Can I get this thing for a lower price? Negotiate as much as you can to get those bills lower. And again, if you need to, consider something like a Buy Nothing group. So the Buy Nothing project started a bunch of Facebook groups locally where people just give away stuff they don't need anymore. So we've gotten toys and household items and kids clothing and all kinds of stuff through these Buy Nothing Facebook groups. And again, please don't feel any shame about using community resources like a local food bank if you need to. Those resources are there so you can use them to make sure that you have the necessities that you need. So take advantage of the local resources you have so that you can save even more money. All right, once you've got your needs covered, maybe a few wants, let's focus on saving something. The goal here isn't the number, it's the habit that you're building. And what I mean by saving money isn't I've got a little money left over in my checking account at the end of the month. I mean literally open a savings account outside of your normal bank and transfer the money from your checking account into that savings account with the goal that you don't touch that money at all. Now, this could be $5 a week. right? It could be something very, very small, but the idea is you're training yourself to save. You're training yourself to, no matter what happens, I'm going to put something in this account. And as you start to build that habit and start to negotiate your bills down and find ways to save and maybe up your income a little bit, like as you have the means, you can put a little more in and a little more in. And the goal is to build up your account to at least 1 month of expenses. Now, again, if we cut your expenses down to bare minimum, maybe that's, I don't know, $2,500 a month. Let's get your goal is to save $2,500 in this savings account. But even $5 a week, $20 a month, something small is where you need to start so you build that savings habit so that it just becomes a normal part of your life. All right, so now that you have a budget based on your needs, you've got a couple of wants in there, you've got savings built into your budget. You just create a savings category in that budget and put in an amount in and commit to the thing. To actually stick to this low income budget, you need to start tracking every dollar you spend. Now, this can feel tedious, looking at your bank account statements and writing everything down and keeping that on track. I totally get that, but it's essential that you become very, very intimately familiar with every dollar you spend. Every time you swipe the card, every time a bill goes through, you need to know what is happening. You can't stick your head in the sand. You have to be very, very aware, because the awareness is going to allow you to make really good money decisions and avoid bad money decisions and eventually start to stack that savings account. Now, here at Lunch Money, this is what we are all about. We automatically connect all of your accounts. We will track everything. We'll automatically categorize it so you could look at your budget at any time and know exactly how much you left in the grocery budget, exactly how much is left in the utilities budget. You know all of those details. So if you want to give Lunch Money a try, again, we got a link to a free 30-day trial. You could just sign up, connect your accounts, and see where your money has been going, and then start to track every dollar as it leaves your account. Get intimately familiar with this information so that you start to make better money decisions. You're going to be intentional. That's the key word here. You can be intentional with your money so you can intentionally start saving more. Listen, it's not fun to have a low income and feel like your money's already spent before it's hit your account, but with some intentionality, you can cut out the waste. You can create a plan for your money before it hits your account and start to put it where you want it to go. And you can start to prioritize actually saving even just a little bit until that money starts to stack over time. And as your income starts to increase, maybe you pick up a side hustle, maybe you get a promotion at work, whatever that is, you're gonna have these habits ingrained so that now you're taking care of your needs, you've got a couple of wants, and you're prioritizing savings so that as your income grows, your savings are gonna grow even faster. At Lunch Money, we have a heart for this. We want to help you take control of your money at any income level. So we want to give it to you free for 30 days. Just try it out. You can sign up with the link below, connect your financial accounts. It'll automatically bring all of that data in. You'll be able to create the budget quickly and you'll know where it goes. Actually, I want to show you how this works within the Lunch Money app. So I just want to show you an example budget of what I have set up here. So the way that you set up budgets within Lunch Money, you just go to the setup section here and you can go into categories. You can create categories, again, your essentials, right? Your housing, your groceries, your utilities, things like that. You can also put them inside of groups. I like to create groups so that you know where they stand. So for this one, it would just be create the needs group. What are the necessities? What is the things that I have to spend money on no matter what? And that's what goes in this needs group. So I created housing, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance, debt, minimum payments. Those things have to be covered. Everything else is extra. So I created this extras category. So you got restaurants and subscriptions and shopping and entertainment, things like that. So this is going to be stuff that is extra. And then really, really important down here, I put the goals, right? The goal is to save some more money. The goal is to have an emergency fund in place, get a month of expenses set aside. And then eventually let's pay off some of that debt. And so you can build that into the budget. So that's how you create the budget under this setup section. Now, if we go over to finances and check out the budget, you can actually start filling in some numbers to see how much you have. So let's say you're making $2,500 a month and then you do some dog sitting on the side and you make an extra $150. You make $2,650 a month. That's how much you have available, right? And if you go over to the left to budget section here, you got $2,650 to allocate towards your budget. So let's say you've got low rent in a studio apartment and you're paying about $1,200 a month. You spend about $300 on groceries, and your utility costs are about $250 a month, and you're spending between gas and maybe you have a car payment, maybe you don't, but if you just have gas and you don't have car payment, And then basic maintenance, you're spending about $250 a month on transportation. And then your insurance, between car insurance and maybe homeowner's insurance if you own. If you don't, you just have renter's insurance. It's a lot lower number here. Let's just say you spend about $200 a month on insurance and your debt minimum payments are about $150, right? So this is just, again, this is just an example. As you can see, your needs are now covered and you have $300 left to budget here. So there's a couple things you could do with that. One, if you want, you could put a couple dollars toward restaurants or whatever. Or maybe you're like, hey, I'm gonna get caught out working late, whatever it is. I need at least $50 to, run through a drive-through. So let's put some money there. So now you got $250 left. Now you could sign up for some more subscriptions or, do some more entertaining things, or you could prioritize your savings. And so what you could do here is go down to goals and go, I'm gonna put $200 toward my emergency fund. And then I'm gonna put, and again, you can see when I click the button here, it says, here's how much is left to budget. It knows exactly what's going on. Let's put $50 extra on that lowest balance credit card debt. So now you have a budget that you can stick to. We're not gonna have much extra right now because you're gonna prioritize saving. As your income goes up, as you start to take care of some of this debt or you've got your emergency fund in place, then you can start to allocate money toward the emergency savings. So what's really cool is as you start spending money, we'll bring in all those transactions for you and we'll show you, the money that goes out. And it even shows you, look, it even shows you historically, here's how much money you've spent in this category. And it'll show you how much you have left in the month. So if I spend $100 on groceries, it'll show me I only have $200 left. So again, a month lunch money, we just try to make this really simple, clean, straightforward so that you can save money and allocate your money even if you don't make a lot. You could split that into just needs and extras, just focus on those needs, save as much as you can, and then as your income goes up, you could start to increase that. Again, if that is interesting to you, we want to make this easy for you. Free for 30 days, just sign up with the link below and you can give it a shot. And if you're looking for more ways to stretch your dollars further, check out this video where I share 15 different ways that you can live below your means and save more money.